Hellos, how are you all doing, my friends? Uh, today I'm going to talk about a little serious topic. Serious because the word itself is pretty serious. That's the reason I'm quoting serious. It's called risk. And every one of us are very, very apprehensive about this word. And if this word risk comes into the investment gamut of things, we become more jittery. But here's the good part: risk can be managed, risk can be taken care of, risk can be mitigated, risk can be reduced. Well, good to hear, understand. And at the same time, you'd be asking, why is he smiling and talking about it? Well, the reason is very simple. When even the fact that we are living, we are taking risks in life, because life itself is a risk. So I'm going to talk about investments and how risk affect your investment decisions in life. So when you're talking about risk and investments, there are few areas which you need to very clearly identify. Well, obviously, the first one is the kind of investment which you are doing. Second would be your age. Third would be the length of your investment period or the tenure. And the most importantly, is how you're able to identify and how risk averse or risk taking ability which you have in life. So how do you go about planning for risk? How do you go about mitigating it? Well, it's very simple. In investments, risk can be clearly defined as the inability to clearly understand what would be the return which you will get at the end of a period. So, when you're talking about returns, if you park your money in any fixed asset, you know at the end of 1 year, you're going to get a specific amount of interest on the same. So, if it's a fixed deposit with a bank, 1 lakh rupees, 7% is your return. So you know exactly after 1 year, your 1 lakh would have given you 7,000 rupees. So 7,000 is the interest which is fixed in nature, which means there is no risk because you're aware what return you're going to get at the end of 1 year. Well, the other part is at the end of 1 year, when you don't know what is going to be your return and there is uncertainty on the return part, that's where risk comes in. So, here are the ways of trying to understand it. You need to see and clearly understand the investment avenue you're putting your money in, parking your money in. That means see the returns which it has generated over the last 3, 5, 7, 10 year period. The lengthier the period of your investment, the risk gets reduced. If you talk about equity specifically, the longer the time frame of your investment, lesser is the risk which you carry. So when you're investing in equities, make sure that your tenure is very high. Even in case of gold, even in case of real estate, like maybe buying a house or a land, you have to keep tenure to be long term in nature. One of the biggest mitigators of risk is the time frame or the tenure of investment. So make sure the tenure is long. So never park your money of your short-term goals into any of these avenues which have risk, which is obviously going to mitigate the value or the principal amount. So keep a long term. That's a tenure. Second, understand the investment avenue which you're parking your money into by understanding the returns, which I earlier pointed out. Third, most importantly, the age. The older you are in terms of your age, lesser is your ability or capability to take any kind of uncertainty. Obviously, there would be people who would be able to take it, but that is the identifiable way of doing it. Higher the age, lesser is your risk taking ability, so take lesser risk. Then obviously comes to the main area, which is how you are able to judge yourself into, are you risk averse, are you risk taking. So in this case you need to ask yourself, is it okay if I park 100 rupees and it becomes 80 rupees in the next 2 years? How well, or how easily will you take that kind of situation? So here again, make sure that your mindset is very clear. The fault or the problem arises when we have, or the advisor or the person who is investing, or you yourself, when you are putting in your money into any avenue, you have not really clearly understood the risk and the related volatility which is entailed in it. That's where the problem starts. If you're aware about the same, you would never really, you'll never be apprehensive about it because you prepared for it. So, that's the main idea. So, preparing yourself for it is most important. And with knowledge, you can always reduce the risk. Mitigating, maybe not, but reduction, certainly yes. And you should always know when to get out. When you make good money, make sure that you're also having the knowledge and the kind of persistent behavior of booking profits out of it. So that's what risk is all about, something which is manageable, something which you need to take in your life, and at the same time make sure if you're not able to, take help from people. Thank you so much. If there is any other questions which you have in mind, keep shooting them and I'll keep answering them for you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.